Hi all. So welcome to another session. So in the last session we discussed about actions class in Selenium. So where we saw how to do mouse operations using Selenium. So in this session we'll be covering upon frame handling in Selenium. Okay. So let's see how frame we can handle frames within how we can handle the elements inside a frame. So let's quickly refer to a doc. So let me switch on to that. So what is in frame handling? Let's say if you're trying to locate an element and that is not present inside the DOM, so there can be a point that the element is located inside a frame. Okay, so that is what it's saying, that if a web element is present inside a frame, then we can't directly find the web element using find element or find elements method. Instead, we have to switch our driver control inside the frame. So okay, so there are three ways by which we can switch our context inside to the frame. So we have like it's similar to the window handling that we studied. So we use driver.switch2.windows, and here it's same as driver.switch2.frame. Instead, here we have three ways. So the way is that if you driver.switch2.frame, the first way is you pass the index of the frame. Second way is you pass the frame name or frame ID. Or third way is you just find that frame element, web element, and just pass the web element directly inside this method. Okay, so let's see a scenario. Let's see, we have scenarios here that this comes. Let's see a simple scenario that you are trying to find something what inside the HTML document, but it gives you no such element exception. So why would be that? Because that element might be present inside a frame. So in order to do that, we'll have to switch inside to this frame, and then we'll have to perform an operation, and then we'll have to come out of the frame, okay, to be onto the default content, that is default HTML document. So let's quickly see an example for this. So we have, let me quickly show you. So we have this page. Okay, so we are referring for frames here. So I'll switch on to this page, and we have this element. So let's see. So this element is basically inside this HTML document, if we see. And this element, there's a sample there. This is a sample page. Okay, so if I inspect onto this, so you can see that this comes inside a frame, correct? So this is coming inside a frame. So I'll have to switch my, let me quickly show you with the script itself. So I've already made the file here. So I'm switching on to this. I'm navigating to this page. Post navigating to this page, I'll have to find this element, that is h1 with id of sample heading. So h1 with id of sample heading. So driver dot find element by dot id, pass the id here, and we quickly grab this up. Let's say heading ELE, and create a local variable driver dot. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me first show you that if I try to capture this element, then what happens in this case. Okay, so let's just see. So I'll find the text of this. Okay, dot get text will be the method. Okay, so here it is. So I'll print the text of this. Let's see what happens here if I try to run this up. This is the execution. Okay, so it has thrown me an error saying that no such element. Which element? That is sample. What? Yeah, this one, CSS selector. This is not present. Okay, so let me show you why. Because this is present inside a frame, so that is why it is giving you an error that it cannot find this. So let me add quit first. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to navigate inside this frame first, and let's find out this frame. Okay, so the frame is here, and driver dot find element by dot say id frame ele, create a local variable for this. So what I'll have to do first, Rolex, this should be here. I'm going here. So before finding the element, you need to switch that inside that frame. Okay, so I am finding my element here, and before finding my element I need to switch inside that frame. Okay, so how to switch? So I told you there are three ways. Driver dot switch to dot frame. So we have three methods: web element, string, and what we have integer based on the index. So index we generally don't use, because since there will be enhancement in the pages and inside your HTML, so there are chances that the indexes might change. So I would prefer to you to go with web element. So we have this up. So I have, now it's clear that I have switched on to this, and let's see, it should print inside this console. Okay, so this has printed. This is a sample page. So I hope this was only the text. Yeah, this is the only text. So now let's say I want to capture this div here. Okay, so let me quickly write a XPath for this. C control F. Okay, I've already written, I think so. Yeah, here. So we have this. Now driver dot find element by dot XPath. Paste this XPath here. And now what we need to do, I want the text of this, correct? Text of this element. Sorry, let me save this. Let's say div ele. I'll not get text. Okay, let's save this up. Post saving this up, let me run this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is giving me again a no such element exception. Why? Because your context is still inside the frame itself. Okay, and you are trying to refer something outside the frame. So since we have explicitly switched our context inside the frame, so we'll have to come out of that frame. So how to come out of that frame? Since we let's see. So I am switching inside the frame, I'm performing some actions, and then I'm trying to access something that is outside of the frame. So what I'll have to do before trying to access something outside of the frame, I'll have to switch myself outside of the frame. So how to do that? Driver dot switch to dot default content. Default content means the previous content that was there. That is the main HTML document. Okay. So we have here. So if I run this, this should work fine. Now, okay, so this is printing up now. Okay, so this was how we'll handle frames. This was how we do around frames. Similar it is just similar to window handling. That is why I taught you window handling before itself, so that this becomes pretty much simple. So let's go to our doc. Let's see, there are a few more scenarios as well. Let's say there are two frames, so how will you handle that situation? Let's say you want to first come upon this frame and try to do your logic, and then you want to go into this frame. So simple as that. Let me zoom. So first we'll switch on, we'll say driver.switch to dot frame one. Then we'll go and perform our actions onto frame one. Then what we'll do, we'll say driver.switch to dot default content. Post switching from default content, we'll again go to driver.switch to dot frame two, and so on and so forth. Okay. So and again, if we want to we want something that we can access inside the default content, so we'll have to switch on to the default content. Okay. So there's one more scenario that that two frames are inside this parent frame. So first you'll have to switch from default to parent frame, that is frame one, then inside frame two, and then again you'll have to switch back to frame one, that is the parent frame, and then you'll have to switch to frame three, and then you'll have to switch to frame one, and then basically the default content. So this was all about frame handling. So in the next lecture we'll see about how to do scrolling in Selenium. Okay, so let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye. So I hope you find the session as informative. Thank you.